Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Sandy Smith, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Sergeant Jeanette McNeely. Today, we remember and commemorate the Battle of Fromelles. On the 19th of July 1916, the last of the Australians to arrive in France from Egypt became the first to take part in a major operation when the 5th Australian Division joined the 61st British Division in an attack on German positions near Fromelles. A feint designed to draw German reserves away from the Battle of the Somme to the south. The operation was conducted in broad daylight under direct observation and heavy machine gun fire. It was a disaster. In less than 24 hours, 5,533 Australians became casualties. Some 2,000 of those were dead. The 61st Division, having contributed about a third of the attacking force, suffered over 1,500 casualties. Realising the significance of Fromelles to our young nation, Charles Bean returned to walk over the ground on the day of the armistice, to think, reflect, and record before the battlefield returned to peace. He found the old no man's land simply full of our dead. The skulls and bones and torn uniforms were lying about everywhere. He described Fromelles as one of the bravest and most hopeless assaults ever undertaken by the AIF. This evening, we commemorate all those whose names are listed here on the Roll of Honour and the survivors who returned home. As always, we welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. Australia's Federation Guard is the tri-service ceremonial unit of the Australian Defence Force. They provide a ceremonial presence at civil and military events and during visits to Australia by foreign dignitaries. The Guard will now dismount the catafalque party from the tomb of the unknown Australian soldier. If you are able, I now invite you to please stand and join in singing the national anthem. For those who are able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight we'll read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament. Flowers of the forest, wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Prosper Goodwin Keats. Prosper Keats was born in 1895 in Woodburn on the Richmond River in New South Wales. He was one of 6 children born to Richard Squibb Keats, a miner, and his wife Eliza Jane. Prosper received his education at Woodburn Public School and was a keen member of the Cadets. After his schooling, he worked as a bank clerk. When the First World War broke out in 1914, he was working at the Yates Seed Store in Sydney. Prosper Keats enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 11th of August 1915. He was assigned to the 14th Reinforcements of the 13th Battalion as a private. After a short period of training, he embarked for active service, sailing from Sydney on the 16th of February 1916 on the troop ship Ballarat. In March 1916, Keats arrived in Egypt, where he joined a mix of new recruits as well as veterans from the recently abandoned Gallipoli campaign. A month later, Keats was transferred to the newly formed 54th Battalion. He trained with them until the 19th of June, when they embarked for the Western Front. They arrived in Marseille and were immediately sent north to the French and Belgian borders, which had once been the site of bitter fighting. Now, comparatively quiet, it was known as the nursery sector, where new troops, such as Keats, were introduced to life in the trenches. After spending only a few days in the front line, Keats' unit was called into action near the village of Fromelles. Here, he took part in his first and last major action of the war. The battle was intended as a feint to prevent German reserves from moving south to take part in the Battle of the Somme. Ordered to attack strongly fortified enemy positions near the Auberge Ridge, the Allied advance was preceded by a 7-hour bombardment. It was designed to destroy the German front line and allow the troops to take their objectives largely unopposed. When the battle began in broad daylight, advancing units quickly realised that not only had the artillery been almost useless, but it also served to warn the enemy of the attack. As they jumped the parapet, Allied troops were quickly cut down by murderous machine gun and artillery fire. Though some men made it to their objective, they were quickly forced to withdraw and were again caught under heavy fire during their retreat. By the time the battle was called off, the 5th Division alone had suffered over 5,500 casualties in an attack which has been remembered as the worst 24 hours in Australia's military history. Amongst the casualties was Private Prosper Keats, who had been killed at Fromelles. His comrade, Private Coates, told the Red Cross, "I saw him get hit with shrapnel in the back. He was in great pain and could not get a stretcher bearer. Casualty near Flabé on the 19th of July, 1916. I knew him very well. The ground was lost, and the next morning we returned over the ground to our lines and saw no trace of him. We don't know if he was buried." Private Keats' final resting place was never located, and today he is commemorated on the VC Corner Australian Memorial in France. Private Prosper Keats was 21 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst more than 62,000 Australians who died whilst serving in the First World War. His photograph of his name on the VC Corner Australian Memorial is displayed today beside the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Prosper Goodwin Keats, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Everybody, present on! Everybody, shut down! Up!
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget.
Everybody, and words done! Everybody, hit! On!
We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozières or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of our director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.